guys, Luke here. Hope you're doing well. If you like the content, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, share the content if you like it, okay? So, here we go. Bitcoin Cash versus Digibyte. Who's gonna win, in my opinion? Stay tuned. All right, so let's get into it. So, on one hand, we have Bitcoin Cash. On one hand, we have Digibyte, okay? So, as you may or may not know, these are probably my two favorite, currency type coins, okay? What I mean by currency type coins is coins that are, number one, they're UTXO, they're mineable, they're, what I mean by, they're proof of work. They have a similar structure to Bitcoin, and that they're mineable and they're UTXO. And they have distributed nodes. There's an adequate level of decentralization and things like that. Okay, so these are probably my two favorite sort of currency coins. Okay, now keep in mind I'm also a fan of Litecoin, but from a technical perspective, Litecoin is not as advanced as these two coins. Okay, just from a pure technical standpoint. Okay, these coins are cheaper and they're the code is better, in my opinion. Okay, now Litecoin has more network effects and things like that. I've talked about in previous video. If you're interested in why I'm bullish on Litecoin and why I owned a lot of Litecoin, check out my Why Litecoin video. Okay, but this is going to talk about my two favorite coins as far as the more technical stuff. Okay, like speed, things like that. Okay, so let's get into the specifics. So, block time. Digibyte wins this one. 15-second block time. Okay. We'll say 15-second block time. So it is quicker than Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash has the same block time as Bitcoin, actually. So it's 10 minutes. So we got a 10-minute block time. So technically, Digibyte is faster, right? But we'll go into more why. I don't think that's as important as people think it is. Okay, so Digibyte has more. You can mine it. It's got more algos. Okay, so more algos. Bitcoin Cash, I think it just has one mining algo. I think it's most just SHA-256 type of mining. Okay. And Digibyte has some other fundamental benefits too. They're putting in Dandelion, which helps hide your IP when you're running a node or sending a transaction. I think I'm not super technical. Okay, I'm more technical when it comes to cryptocurrencies than most people, obviously, but I'm not super technical. Okay. So Digibyte, it has advantage of its faster block time. It's got multiple algorithms to mine with. It's putting in Dandelion. Bitcoin Cash, it has some other benefits too that I think are actually more important. Okay, so Bitcoin Cash, it has more liquidity. Okay, it's on more exchanges. So it's on all the big exchanges. Okay. It's on Gemini. It's on Coinbase. It's on Binance. It's on the big boys. On Kraken. It's on all the top. It's on the top 5. Okay, Digibyte is not. Okay, and that's a problem. Okay, it's a problem because if it's not on a big exchange, it's not as accepted by the wider community. Just the average Joe is more likely to buy Bitcoin Cash on Coinbase. Like Litecoin, same thing, and that's an issue. Okay, that's an issue. It has more. Bitcoin Cash has more network effects. Okay. It has more network effects because it has this. It's a fork of Bitcoin, okay, and so because it is a fork of Bitcoin, everyone that owned Bitcoin owns Bitcoin Cash. That means it inherited the network effects of Bitcoin, and people way overlook this. Okay, people don't understand this for some reason, and so something like Digibyte's great, but first of all, it's not on all the major exchanges. It doesn't have the network effects of Bitcoin. Okay. And this is true, the network effects of Bitcoin, not only for the liquidity and the amount of people using Bitcoin Cash, but also just the developer pool. Okay, so the developers. So Bitcoin has has a larger developer pool than Digibyte. Okay, there's way more people working on Bitcoin than Digibyte. Okay, And a lot of the smart people are from Bitcoin have moved to Bitcoin Cash because Bitcoin Cash is where they can be more active. All the fun stuff is happening on Bitcoin Cash. They're being more aggressive with their protocol upgrades. And a lot of people were disenfranchised. A lot of developers and business people that loved Bitcoin were really disenfranchised when Bitcoin Core decided to not scale Bitcoin properly and not allow bigger blocks. Okay, and so it has more developers and things like that. So that's pretty important. Okay, even though fundamentally I would say Digibyte actually is more advanced, right? It has faster block times. Digibyte actually has the fastest. Digibyte actually has the fastest block time you can have that the internet can support, right? They've done studies on it at like MIT or something. And Digibyte basically has the fastest block that is actually safe that the internet can actually propagate quickly enough to where the blockchain like could handle it. Okay, so Digibyte is fundamentally it probably is a better coin, right? So it has faster block time. It can handle more throughput. It has 5 mining algos. But Bitcoin Cash is actually more advanced than people think it is. It's almost as advanced as Digibyte, and some of the advantages that Digibyte has aren't as important. Okay, for example, let's talk about the block time. So as you know, Bitcoin Cash has a slower block time. Okay, so it's slower, but it's not as important as you think it is because the way Bitcoin Cash is set up, you can do zero confirmation transactions quite safely. Okay, so let's say I'm going to go buy a cup of coffee, right? I'm going to go buy a cup of coffee with Bitcoin Cash. I don't need to wait 10 minutes for the block to confirm for it to be basically safe for Bitcoin Cash, especially for a cup of coffee, okay? First of all, the odds of a double spin having a Bitcoin Cash are very, very minimal, okay? Partially because Bitcoin Cash has plenty of block space that is mostly adaptive, and so it makes if there's plenty of room on the blocks, it makes double spins much more difficult, okay? Because you can't do like a replace by fee. Okay, because I think they actually removed replace by fee on Bitcoin Cash, and so people have gotten into their minds that a block has to be mined for the transaction to be safe. Now it's true. If you were gonna use Bitcoin Cash to buy like a car or especially spend over like maybe $1,000, you would want to wait for at least one block or a couple blocks to be mined. Okay. But if you're going to buy a cup of coffee, you're going to go buy lunch, you're going to tip your friend, you're going to tip someone on the internet, you don't need to wait 10 minutes on Bitcoin Cash. Sending a zero confirmation transaction is actually very safe, especially for small amounts. And it's so safe, and if it's a small enough amount, the chances of something happening is basically zero. So it's close to zero, okay? And so that's something important. So that's something very important that a lot of people don't understand is that you can send zero confirmation transactions very safely. So zero confirmation, very safe for small amounts. Now this is not true on Bitcoin because Bitcoin has full blocks. It has replaced by fee, and if you understand how the mechanisms of how those works, you'll understand that zero conf transactions aren't as safe on Bitcoin. Even like on something like Bitcoin, if you're gonna buy a cup of coffee, even though it's not feasible because Bitcoin transaction fees right now are like $5, but if you were going to do something like buy a cup of coffee or buy dinner with Bitcoin, zero conf would still be quite safe with even Bitcoin. But it's a lot safer on Bitcoin Cash. Okay, so that's important to realize. Okay, so that's not the fast block time is not as important, not as much of an advantage to Digibyte as you think it is. Okay. And so if we understand that, we understand that Bitcoin Cash fundamentally is basically almost as good as Digibyte. Okay, it's as scalable too. So it's as scalable as Digibyte. That's something important you need to understand. Okay. The block times of Digibyte don't make it more scalable. Because the main constraint is if the main constraint is the size of the block, which is like hard drive space, it doesn't matter if blocks are happening every 15 seconds or every 10 minutes. Over the same amount of time, however many transactions are getting put, so if Digibyte does the same amount of transactions per hour as Bitcoin Cash is, it's going to be the same amount of hard drive space. Does that make sense? The block time doesn't affect how much hard drive or how much like space the blockchain is going to take up. Okay, So, if if Bitcoin Cash is doing, like one transaction every 10 minutes, but then Digibyte is doing, if you divide 10 minutes by 15 seconds, and then Digibyte's doing the same amount relatively, it's the same thing, right? So, it's like, so transactions per day is really what matters, or really that also taking into account the size of the transactions. But for the most part, it's the same. So it's as scalable as Digibyte. It might not be quite as scalable as Digibyte because the blocks have to propagate, and since Digibyte has a faster block time, it should theoretically be able to keep the blocks smaller because they're happening more often, which allows them to propagate better among the network. So I would say that Digibyte probably does have that advantage. So small blocks is somewhat of an advantage, or just it should say faster blocks. So faster blocks are an advantage. Okay, just like the mining algo, like we talked about previously, is an advantage. The faster blocks are a significant advantage. Okay, but they're not as much of an advantage as you think it is due to overall scalability and the fact that zero confirmation transactions are very safe. Also, Bitcoin Cash within a year will have avalanche consensus. So avalanche consensus will allow Bitcoin Cash to have even safer zero confirmation transactions, to where it's even closer to zero. Okay, to where it's basically just zero, the risk for a zero conf. So you can feel more comfortable doing bigger transactions, basically, for a zero conf. And that will make basically the faster blocks, not much better at all, really. Avalanche consensus really negates that difference between the two. And also, like, the most important thing, you guys, with Bitcoin Cash, it's on all the major exchanges. It's got liquidity. It's got more liquidity, like we talked about. It has a bigger developer base. Just because people don't realize this, but a lot of the smart people are working on Bitcoin Cash. A lot of the businesses that got fed up with Bitcoin are working on Bitcoin Cash. And it's just a bigger community, and there's a bigger developer pool than Digibyte. And that's just the truth, And as I talked about earlier, it has a lot of the network effects from Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin is in a better place. Bitcoin Cash is in a better place to steal, share of the market than Digibyte is, right? Because Bitcoin Cash, not only does it share a lot of the developer pool with Bitcoin and stuff like that, and stealing developers and business communities from Bitcoin. It's on the same exchanges. So if someone wants to sell Bitcoin for Bitcoin Cash, it's much more easier for a person to do on Coinbase instead of selling it and then sending it to somewhere like where you can buy Digibyte. It's just way simpler to swap it for Bitcoin Cash. And so Bitcoin Cash is in a much better place to steal liquidity and steal market share from Bitcoin because it's on the same exchanges as Bitcoin. All the big exchanges that sell Bitcoin and you can buy Bitcoin on, they also have Bitcoin Cash. So it's right there. So you can just flip between the two if you want. And so traders can switch between the two. Investors can switch between the two. It's just a lot easier. Okay? And this is why I actually think Bitcoin Cash wins. Okay? I love Digibyte. I own a lot of Digibyte. But if I had to pick between the two long term, I'm picking Bitcoin Cash, you guys. These are, like I said, these are my two favorite like as far as technicals go, right? These are my favorite, I think that they're the two most advanced mineable, like, currency type coins, okay? But Bitcoin Cash, in my opinion, it takes the win, okay? Someday, maybe if Digibyte, it gets on all the major exchanges, like Coinbase and Kraken and Gemini, those all add Digibyte, then we'll have a different conversation, okay? But even then, I think Bitcoin Cash has a lot more network effects. Also, another thing that I want to point out, I don't know how much room there is for the human race's mind to equate coins with money, okay? So it seems to me that the human race has chose Bitcoin as a store of value, okay? So it's like, hey, Bitcoin, it's going to be our digital gold. Litecoin, I think human race is starting to choose, hey, that's digital silver. Bitcoin Cash, people might be like, hey, this is our dollar. This is our means of exchange. If I need to send someone some money, it's going to be Bitcoin Cash. It's safer. It's cheap, safe. Has a lot of liquidity. I think the Bitcoin Cash might be the digital dollar. Okay, so we got digital gold, digital silver, digital cash. Outside of those three, what else do we need? Digibyte, you can build a lot of stuff on. You know, it's very scalable, it's very fast, so you can use it as an Ethereum type chain. People don't realize. Like you can put assets that on top of Digibyte. You can make Digibyte tokens like ERC. That seems like Ethereum ERC20 tokens. But will people ever use Digibyte as money? Maybe people will use it as a store of value. You know, maybe if Bitcoin is gold and Litecoin is silver and Bitcoin Cash becomes cash. Maybe Digibyte becomes like copper. Maybe becomes like diamonds, or like it becomes like rubies. Maybe it becomes another type of commodity money that people use as a store of value, kind of like gold and silver. Maybe there is room in the human psyche for like, instead of just like 3, maybe like Digibyte can be like 4th as far as like store of value currency coin kind of goes. Maybe along with like Monero. And then maybe Monero will be like the 5th one if people want like really private transactions and store of value as well. But I don't know if Digibyte will ever truly be money in our new society, on our future. You know what I mean? As strange as that sounds. But I think Bitcoin Cash has a much better chance to be seen as money. Okay, along with Bitcoin and Litecoin, I'd say those 3 are the most likely to be really used by people as money. Okay, as we're already seeing. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. I like both these coins. Buy some of both. But if I had to pick, especially long term, with their developer pool, with the progress I've seen on the chain, with the amount of liquidity it already has, and the community, picking Bitcoin Cash. I'll talk to you guys later.